American dream. To his last breath, he'll always be a soldier.
Heard on great radio stations all across America. It's the National Defense with Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry.
The National Defense is made possible by Ford. Go further. By the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. By VSP. For more information on how VSP can help you in your corrective vision needs, visit VSP.com. By the Wounded Warrior Project, serving those who sacrificed for over 15 years. Online at woundedwarriorproject.org. By Gillette On Demand. Get Gillette quality blades delivered directly to your door with Gillette On Demand. Learn more at GilletteOnDemand.com. By Morgan Stanley. Discover how they can help you achieve your long-term financial goals at morganstanley.com. By Farmers Insurance. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com. By Gorilla Glue, makers of Gorilla Tape for the toughest jobs on planet Earth. And by Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant. It goes on clear and keeps you fresh all day, and it doesn't leave white marks on your shirt.
Hey, welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller and Jerry Newberry. And Jerry, as always, our dedication.
Hey, this show's for you, the men and women serving in our military. It's for the millions of veterans out there, and it's for all their families. We're here for you. We love you. God bless you.
We got a brand new bag.
Oh, man.
Got a brand new bag. We want to say hello to all of the new affiliates, and also especially to Envision Network. We got a brand new network that we're working with now. And if you don't know, so that dedication and this show has been around now for almost 14 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And we started it out 14 years ago for the veterans of foreign wars, and it was exclusive to the VFW for many years. We expanded the show 3 or 4 years ago and now work with just some great organizations that all they do is help veterans.
And we're heard all over the world.
All over the world, Armed Forces Radio Network, Envision Network, and just, want to just say a special thanks to all of the radio stations that have picked the show up. Started as a 1-hour show. It's now a 2-hour show.
Yep.
And so it's been fantastic. And, if you're wondering what kind of things are you going to talk about every week, it's really a matter of just anything that important.
Eclectic blend.
It is, yeah.
Things.
And really, it just kind of comes down to anything that's important to veterans.
Right.
Right.
And we're not afraid to take things head on.
Right, exactly.
If we have to. We like to have a good time, but we can be awful damn serious.
We got the... the Secretary of the VA is going to be on with us.
Yep.
Secretary Wilkie, he's going to be on in a couple of weeks. That's a guy that we like to check in with on a regular basis.
And keep him in check. And
let you know if you're a veteran or if you're active duty military, your family member, whatever, you can check back here every single week, and you're going to know what's going on with all the resources, with all the things that are available for veterans, and the things that are not going well for veterans.
And if there's something not going well,
yes,
you should let us know.
Yes, absolutely. Check out the website, thenationaldefense.com. That's thenationaldefense.com. We've got a lot of celebrities that love to come on and talk about their appreciation for the troops. It's kind of a whirlwind of information and entertainment every single week for everybody that's involved with veterans. And so we just appreciate you being here. We'll be here every single week. Thank you to Envision Networks, and you can't get rid of us. I mean, that's the other thing.
We're like a tick.
That's right. We've got a big show coming up this week on the National Defense. Thank you so much. This segment of the National Defense is brought to you by our good friends at the Wounded Warrior Project. Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve, as they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve to live full and independent lives, even when there's no government funding or a nursing home seems like the only option. We won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Join us at findwwp.org.
This op is compromised.
This is Spartan 01, radio check.
Danny, you radio working? The way I see it, we got two options. One, we let them go, roll the dice.
Second that they run down there, we got 200 on our backs.
Two, we terminate the compromise.
We cannot do that.
I don't care. I care about you. I care about you. I care about you.
Not killing kids, not feeling it.
This is not a vote. We're going to cut them loose, and we're going home.
Roger that, sir.
Hey, welcome back to National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and one of the biggest stars on the planet, Mark Wahlberg, is on the phone with us. Mark, how are you?
Hey, how are you, sir?
Doing great. Listen, you were at Camp Pendleton today?
Uh-huh.
And how does that happen?
Any chance I get an opportunity to go and thank our brave men and women who serve our great country, I'm running down there and, jump at the opportunity to spend some time with them and personally thank them for what they do for us.
That's fantastic.
And their families.
They're
all making sacrifices.
Well, that's fantastic, and the fact that you take the time to do that and to come on the show, I just can't thank you enough. And so, kind of set the scene for us at Camp Pendleton. What is that like? You're at the PX?
Yeah, and we saw lines and lines and lines of people that all went on. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they're all the way back to the McDonald's.
Oh wow!
So we were a little worried. Yeah, we only had a certain amount of time allotted, so we wanted to try to make sure that we at least got to see and say hi to everybody. So, once we hit the clock ran out, we just walked all the way back out through the rest of the store, down the street, through the line.
Wow.
Amazing turnout. And, I think people just know genuinely how much I love and appreciate the military. And it was exciting to see. I'd seen some people, a couple of soldiers and a general that I had met in Afghanistan when I went in 2010 to visit the troops.
Wow.
When I went to Leatherneck and a couple of other bases. So, it's just an honor to have also them appreciate the work that I've done and the support that I've shown, through movies like Lone Survivor and Shooter and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had Marcus Luttrell on the program a couple of times, and right after that, and he could not say enough great stuff about your portrayal in Lone Survivor.
Well, that is an honor. I mean, to be welcomed into the SEAL community the way that I was, which is not an easy thing to do.
Right.
I remember when I first met Marcus, they didn't care about my resume, or the movies I had been in the past. They wanted to see what I was willing to do to bring this movie to life and to do a real honest and accurate portrayal. And so shortly after that, I remember the first night I met Marcus was right before we were supposed to start shooting, and he wouldn't even really make eye contact with me. And then when he saw how committed I was, we became very close friends and still are to this day. We talk quite a bit. And, we do a lot of stuff together, and, it's an honor to be, in that kind of circle where, if I see members of the SEAL community and stuff like that, I get a lot of special love. So I'm very, very appreciative.
Well, you talk about some pressure, and we're talking to Mark Wahlberg here in the National Defense. Talk about some pressure, though, not only playing a real character, a real hero, but a true story. You got to get it right.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? The great thing was that was our intention to really kind of show, what happened during Operation Red Wing and to honor those brave men, and people who made so much sacrifice. And certainly the people that we lost and that didn't come home.
Well,
so that was the most important thing.
You nailed it, man.
But I also never feel more pride than to be able to be a part of that project, and they knew what our level of commitment was.
So, listen, in preparation for this interview today, we're based in Kansas City, and I hate to say that to a Boston guy, but right close to Whiteman Air Force Base. Have you ever seen the B-2 up close and personal?
Yeah.
Oh man. It's just some amazing stuff. But there is one Wahlburgers in Kansas right now, and in preparation for the event, this new chain of restaurants that you did with your brothers, I went there today. Man, I got to tell you, that's an impressive place.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful store.
Yeah.
For us, we really want to share our family experience with other families. We're actually opening in a bunch of military bases, both internationally and domestic. We want to be able to bring people together. So if your family is having Wahlburgers in Cincinnati or wherever you are, and here in Ramstein in Germany, and through our virtual visitor technology, you guys can basically be eating lunch together or having dinner together. And for us to just be able to share our family experience, but the menu. The food is absolutely outstanding and fantastic. Full bar. It's shocking. My brother Paul is a real people pleaser. So
yeah. Well, I had the. But here's the mixed message, though. You're a workout guy, and then you're telling me to go in and have a beer and a burger.
here's the great thing. You should be able to work out 4 or 5 times a week and be able to eat what you want on the weekends and then go burn it off. We don't want anybody, no pun intended, to live a boot camp type of existence. You got to have that kind of balance in your life where you get to exercise, eat right, and then have a good time. It's about finding that balance.
Well, it was so weird. I had the Hour Burger and a Wahlbrewski, which was fantastic, the pale ale. And but when I got in there, when I stepped in, I ordered, and the guy goes, "Give me 10 push-ups, and we can bring out your order."
That's not custom. That's not normal.
That must be the Kansas way to do things. But
that's not part of the Wahlberger.
You guys had a great time with that menu too, didn't you? You got small burgers for the kids, the Wahlbrewski. I mean, it's a very cool place to go and great food.
Yeah, again, for us, just sharing our family experience with others and making sure that people have a great time. And my brother is so committed to making sure that the experience is absolutely amazing for everybody.
I just saw your new movie, Instant Family. What a funny movie, and also just a great message about foster kids.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, movies that have so much heart is really important, and trying to, shine a light on people who are brave enough to open their doors and their hearts to and homes to kids in need, and there are a lot of other kids out there. So hopefully, encourage as many people to look into, adoption and permanent placement for kids.
Well, listen, man, thank you. Every movie you've made is so good. The Departed, Boogie Nights, I Heart Huckabee, and of course, Lone Survivor. And I know you're actually on a plane. Thank you so much for taking the time today, and thank you for what you're doing for the veterans and for our military.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's only the beginning. We want to do so much more. The sacrifice that they make, you better, and I encourage everybody in my community and in my primary business to do as much as possible and then do more, because we have to show our appreciation for our brave men and women who serve our country.
Well, I know you got another project coming up. Wonderland's coming out here pretty soon. Love to have you back on and promote that and talk more when you get the time.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks. And I'll meet you in Kansas for a burger.
Hey, I'd love it. Thank you so much, Mark Wahlberg.
All right, brother.
We'll be right back here on the National Defense.
This is the National Defense.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Chad, go.
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition.
Ooh, I'm so sorry. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot means more meat on the grill for less money on the table. Right now, the exclusive Next Grill 5-burner gas grill is only $159, regularly $199. Its 5 burners are big enough to handle 23 burgers at once. That's enough burger flipping real estate for you and 22 of your closest friends. Today is the day for doing. With the Next Grill 5-burner gas grill, just $159. Now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing while supplies last.
Gillette takes great pride in offering the right razor for every kind of face. Now you can get the right razor for your grooming needs when you need it with Gillette On Demand and have quality blades delivered right to your door. Subscribe to Gillette On Demand today and take $5 off your first order with special offer NDR5 at checkout. Enjoy free shipping, hassle-free billing, and you can change or cancel anytime. Visit online at GilletteOnDemand.com and remember, get $5 off your first order with special offer NDR5 at checkout. This portion of the National Defense is brought to you by Gorilla Glue, the makers of Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape has a tough, reinforced backing and is made with double-thick adhesive that grips to smooth, rough, and uneven surfaces. With a weather-resistant shell, Gorilla Tape can be used both indoors and out, which is perfect for applications in the field, including duck blinds, tree stands, and tent repairs. Gorilla Tape and Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller. Time now for a new edition of Eye Insights with VSP. Dr. Jim Winnick is back with us again this week. Dr. Winnick, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Randy?
Good. It's we get another special month here. April is Women's Eye Health and Safety Month. Had no idea. I didn't have that. I don't even have a card for that picked out. But it is an important thing to talk about. And now, why is an eye exam important for women? I know it's important for everybody, but especially for women.
Yeah, Randy, we've talked before. An eye exam is important for everyone for not only vision, but ocular health. And when you get into the ocular health side of things, unfortunately, women are more likely than men to suffer from eye-related diseases like cataracts, glaucoma, and diabetic retinopathy.
I had no idea, really. And I guess that makes it even more important for women to get regular eye exams. But what are the factors that can cause changes in vision for women?
Well, physically, women go through a lot more than we do as men. Major conditions like menopause, breast cancer. Women, unfortunately, are more likely to acquire autoimmune diseases. Even something as simple as pregnancy can cause vision changes in prescription, chronic dry eye, different eyelid conditions related to makeup use for years and years. So they've got some other challenges that men don't have to face.
We're talking to Dr. Jim Winnick here in the National Defense, the VSP Eye Insights. Are women more at risk than men for specific diseases?
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not only at greater risk for eye diseases, but overall health conditions that then would impact their vision. Cataracts typically appear in women over 40, and especially women of African-American descent are even at higher risk, more so than men and sooner than men. 1 in 10 American women over the age of 20 actually has diabetes. And people with diabetes often experience light sensitivity, difficulties distinguishing color in low light, troubles with night driving. Dry eye, probably the biggest one, is much more common in women, especially after menopause.
If you're not seeing your eye doctor on a regular basis, especially, now that we know this, especially if you're a woman, but what can women do in terms of preventative care aside from going to get an eye exam?
Well, eye care is part of general health care. So, visiting your eye doctor as well as your general practitioner on a regular basis and preventative medicine, and along with keeping a healthy lifestyle, keeps your eyes and everything else running the best we can.
Yeah, it just amazes me how many things can be picked up on an eye exam. And it's just so, which is a great thing, but you got to get in and have it done, right?
You do.
Dr. Winnick, for those who haven't heard, can you talk about VSP's news for our listeners?
Yeah, VSP has some pretty exciting news that it's currently a vision carrier for hundreds of thousands of federal employees through the Federal Employee Dental and Vision Insurance Program, or what most people know as the FedVIP program. And that's great news because certain retired members of uniformed services and their families, as well as most family members of active duty servicemen and women, can now access comprehensive vision care through the FedVIP. So you can go to choosevsp.com and review the VSP plan options and learn why you should enroll.
Dr. Witt, thanks so much.
I appreciate it, Randy.
We'll be back here next week with a brand new edition of VSP Eye Insights right here on the National Defense.
This has been the National Defense, made possible by Gillette Clear Gel Deodorant. It goes on clear and keeps you fresh all day, and it doesn't leave white marks on your shirt. By the Wounded Warrior Project, by Gillette On Demand, and by Gorilla Glue, makers of Gorilla Tape.
Now at the Home Depot, save up to 35% off appliance special buys, like the Samsung stainless steel side-by-side refrigerator, just $9.98. You save $300. It's big enough to hold 25 bags of groceries. Unload those, and if that makes you thirsty, you'll really love the external ice maker and water dispenser. Today is the day for doing. Spring Black Friday savings now at the Home Depot. more saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details. Valid through April 17th.
This portion of the National Defense is brought to you by Gorilla Glue, the makers of Gorilla Tape. Gorilla Tape has a tough, reinforced backing and is made with double-thick adhesive that grips to smooth, rough, and uneven surfaces. With a weather-resistant shell, Gorilla Tape can be used both indoors and out, which is perfect for applications in the field, including duck blinds, tree stands, and tent repairs. Gorilla Tape and Gorilla Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Hey, welcome into the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and on the phone with me, I mean, this guy has been in everything. Actor Charlie Sheen joins us here in the National Defense. Hey, Charlie.
Hey, Randy. How are you, man?
Man, I am doing great. It's so good to talk to you. And, your body of work, I look back and see some of the movies that you've been in, and not to count the TV shows, but you've been in some legendary stuff. I mean, Wall Street.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to hear.
I mean, Major League, and I went back in preparation for this interview and rewatched Platoon, which I can't believe that came out in 1986.
Yeah, it feels like a couple lifetimes ago. You know?
Right. How old were you when you made that?
I was 20, and
wow.
And 21 when it came out. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a life altering experience, both making it and then when it was finally seen, it really changed everything. I kind of look at my the early years as BP before Platoon and AP after.
Yeah. What was interesting is, and that's why I asked your age, because so you were about the same age as the guys that were serving, right?
Correct. Yeah. If not a little bit older.
Yeah.
Than
right.
the average GI at the time,
Yeah. And what kind of reaction did you get when that movie came out from veterans?
Well, it was a trip because when we were making it, we didn't think anybody was going to see it, but we thought the people that did see it would be veterans, and so we spent so much energy and focused on the details, so to honor what they went through. But I'm not saying I can relate because I wasn't there. We weren't in life and death scenarios every day. But their reaction was amazing. They said, "Wow, somebody finally told a story that explores, that shines a light on what we experienced." And then everybody else showed up to celebrate it. So it was really cool to get that kind of reaction and to feel like we delivered something good and left something good behind,
Yeah, and when you're making a movie like that, and we've had a lot of people on the show, and actors and writers and different things that kind of got into the combat stories, and there is some extra pressure there to get it right. I mean, you want to, obviously you got consultants, you got people around you that know the details, but that part it sounds like it was very important to you too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And we had Captain Dale Dye, USMC retired, guiding us through every moment, through every detail. And without him, and without Oliver Stone having actually been there, then the film wouldn't have had the realism that we were fortunate enough to portray.
Yeah, that was a pretty physical role for you, right?
Yeah, but I was 20, so there was,
you're right.
Right. Back then we still bounced,
Right.
We still bounced. We didn't break. But it was grueling, and the training camp in particular was something else. We got sent into the bush, into the jungle for 2 weeks, and lived off MREs and dug our own foxholes and went on night patrols, and it was a whole thing. And then that ended with like a 15K hump to this one location that Oliver was filming when we arrived and didn't tell us. So he got us on camera, first shots of the movie coming right out of our training camp. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, we had Demi Moore on the program talking about G.I. Jane. She said the first day she was on set, they got her up at 5 a.m, immediately ran a mile and threw up.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah, she was great. She was great in that. And it was also cool because they shaved her head on camera.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. that was
talk about having one take to get it right. You know?
You're right. That's a little scary, for a female, an actress, to go through that and know that you're going to be without hair for a while.
And she wore it terrifically, I thought.
Yeah. I think she owned it. She definitely owned it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did.
Hey, so
I gotta tell you, man, it's an honor. It's an honor to be on this show. I when I got the call, I was like, absolutely, let's do this tomorrow.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry if there was any delay in communications that might not have gotten to me, but people these days say, well, who of your people do we have to get through? And I'm like, I am my people.
Well, I will tell you, Charlie, this is one of the easier connections that we've had. It's amazing. Once you do get through the people and it gets to the person you're trying to get to, almost everybody, will come on the show. And we've had some great folks on the show and just really, express their appreciation for the troops and talk about, how much they love the country. And we've never been a political show. And so the one thing I think that everybody's coming to terms with in terms of the military is that, we don't have to love everything that's going on to appreciate the military. And that's so great.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. These amazing and brave men and women have the most difficult job on the planet, period, the end.
Yeah.
And that they do so many things that none of us want to and are grateful we don't have to, so we can enjoy the freedoms that we continue to enjoy.
Hey, so let's talk about where you are in your life right now, if we can.
Sure. No, I'm doing really good. There's not a lot of work to speak of. I mean, there's some cool stuff coming up that I'm excited about, but nothing's been cemented to the point where I can give you a start date and a title and a cast and all that.
First of all, 17 months sober, is that about right?
Yeah, right about there, yeah. Maybe just shy of that, but it's
congratulations.
A really good start. Thank you. Yeah, it was time. I tell people that I got tired of apologizing for things I couldn't remember doing.
You know what, though? You're a human being. I think we've all got those sections of our life.
Correct. But when the evidence starts to really outweigh the excuses, then you got to take a step back and say, you know what? Not only do I deserve better, but the people closest to me deserve better. Yeah. Because they're always the ones picking up the pieces and pouring the guy into the car, and then distributing the bribes the next day.
Right. Well, you know what though? Here's the thing though, Charlie. We're talking to Charlie Sheen here on the National Defense. Here's the thing though. You went through all of that with everybody watching. Most of us go through that, and you have a few people. And, that was all out there. And, you're doing 2.5 Men. You're going through this whole deal. And it's just, I'm glad, I'm happy for you that you're out on the other side. And also the Super Bowl commercial for Planters, Peanuts, which that was great. That was great.
Oh, right on. I was in the middle of a normal day, just dropped off the kids, was heading to the supermarket, and my buddy Eddie Braun, who's doing the stunts on it, he calls and he says, "Get down here right now. There's a part for you." And I'm like, "I'm on my way."
And you came up with a line yourself, right?
Well, gosh, I would love to say, yeah, that was me. No, it was their creative team.
Okay.
We've done it. The original line was, "That guy's driving like a nut," which is fine.
Yeah.
And then dude comes over and whispers in my ear and gives me that line, and we did it. And based on the reaction, that's the one that had to wind up on television.
Oh, that was great. That was so good. And what a perfect kind of reintroduction of Charlie Sheen, I thought.
Oh, thank you. I wish they'd have filmed me a little better. My vanity sort of got in the way of totally appreciating the moment. But then I took a step back. I was like, wow, this is a nice corporate stamp of approval and my first on-camera Super Bowl commercial. And I wish the game had been a little better.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, yeah, when I say that was the best part of the game,
Oh,
it doesn't mean much, I guess.
Thank
but
you.
No. Well, you talk about
but that was.
You talk about your kids, and that was one of the things before we started the interview. You said you got to get up in the morning, you got to take your kids to school, and that part. How's that part going?
It is really it's very nourishing. There's a lot of nobility in and around it, and I think that's a different bank account to invest in that fuels a part of us that I think needs constant attention. But no, it's if I can be the guy that is just on time like the Marines every morning.
You're right, right,
and every other branch. Then they know that they've got a version of their dad now. Finally,
that's great.
They can rely on top to bottom, and it's really cool.
Now, do you teach them that they need to be winning?
Well, I mean, perhaps without using that specific expression.
I hope you have that word trademarked, by the way.
Well, you can't really trademark a word that already exists.
Too bad.
Somehow.
And that's great. Well, I know that you've got to take your kids to school, and I would love the opportunity to have you back on the show. And
I would love to be back on the show.
That would be great. And just maybe talk about some other movies, and especially if you have projects coming up, man, I would love to be able to promote those on the program.
Oh, absolutely. No, I would love to do that.
That would be great.
Let's stay in touch.
Yes,
my number came up.
That would be great. Hey, listen.
Well, this has been an absolute honor. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you, man.
Again, I just want to thank all the brave women out there that just day in and day out, so we can live the lives that we continue to, and it is not lost on me the sacrifices and the commitment and the nobility and the courage, the daily courage to just get up. The only easy day was yesterday, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the fact that you even came on the program, you just don't know how much that means to those men and women and everybody in this audience. So thank you so much.
Well, I guess we're all winning then, right?
Yeah, we are all winning. Yes. Charlie Sheen, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon. We'll be right back to the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Gillette takes great pride in offering the right razor for every kind of face. Now you can get the right razor for your grooming needs when you need it with Gillette On Demand and have quality blades delivered right to your door. Subscribe to Gillette On Demand today and take $5 off your first order with special offer NDR5 at checkout. Enjoy free shipping, hassle-free billing, and you can change or cancel anytime. Visit online at GilletteOnDemand.com and remember, get $5 off your first order with special offer NDR5 at checkout.
How do you thank the millions of men and women who have fought so bravely for our country over the years? At the Home Depot, we think it takes more than words. We believe the best way to show gratitude is to do gratitude. The Home Depot Foundation is committed to veterans and their families, improving their homes and their lives. Since 2011, we've invested $160 million to veteran causes and impacted over 26,000 veteran homes. By 2020, we'll grow that investment to $250 million. From simple wheelchair ramps to complete home makeovers, transitional housing, community support, we consider it a duty and a privilege to serve senior, wounded, and homeless veterans the best ways we know how. After all they've given us, it's the least we could do. $250 million by 2020. Doing more for veterans. Doing gratitude. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Hello, Miranda.
Ford F-150's terrific. Now let's get specific.
Okay. The high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 has best-in-class towing.
For campers and boats, for homecoming floats.
And best-in-class torque.
F-150's packing what the competition is lacking.
Nicely done.
Enjoyed it a ton.
The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
With the active-duty sweat protection of Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant, you can focus on looking your best. From your dress blues to your ACUs. From 0500 to the next, Gillette's 48-hour sweat and odor protection has got your 6 all day long, keeping you fresh and ready for action. Gillette goes on clear and doesn't leave white marks, so you always pass inspection with flying colors. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant, tough on sweat and as ready for action as you are.
50 years ago,
we built up to this war for some time.
When their country was coming apart.
The political climate was just absolutely crazy.
They stuck together.
You just really wanted to do what you could, help win the war and get out of there.
And served a country.
I did a lot of growing up in that 4 years.
That wanted to forget them.
When we become engaged in these wars that are political, we did not learn the lesson of Vietnam.
The time has come.
Today that hurts, because I did lose a couple of friends.
To remember.
You know, war's not easy, war's not kind. You know, it hurts a lot of people.
Remembering Vietnam, a National Archives 50th Anniversary exhibit and initiative. Learn more at archivesfoundation.org.
It's a tough experience.
In a military warehouse south of Washington, D.C., a USO stuffing party is in full swing. By the end of the day, volunteers will have stuffed over 10,000 USO care packages, packed them in boxes, loaded them on trucks, and sent them on their way to our soldiers in Iraq, Afghanistan, and military bases around the world. They'll stuff them full of things that most of us take for granted, but that our troops don't often have. Things like toiletries, playing cards, candy, books, little things. Little things that carry an enormous message to our troops. Little things like thank you, like we'll never forget you, like we're behind you 100%, like we love and cherish each and every one of you. Little things. We're all about the little things. We're the USO. So are you. For more information and to find out how you can help, visit us at USO.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
This is the National Defense.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and it's time now for a brand new Morgan Stanley Money Brief right here. And this week we have Dan Daglio from Morgan Stanley. What are we talking about this week?
Hey, happy to be here, Randy. It's a pleasure to help our servicemen and women. Today I'd like to talk about the basics of savings and investment.
That sounds good.
So savings is the most basic form of investing. I like to think of it as a foundation for a house. You wouldn't build a house without first having a solid foundation. And likewise, you shouldn't build an investment portfolio without first having a solid savings set aside.
Emergency fund, right? That sounds familiar. So what do you recommend as a good start for an emergency savings fund?
As an example, financial experts generally recommend 3 to 6 months of spending set aside in savings products. So those can include things like checking, savings, or bank deposit accounts, or even CDs.
Okay, you mentioned a couple of different savings vehicles. How are those different?
Well, all these instruments have safety of principal and liquidity as an objective, but in varying degrees. For example, checking, savings accounts, and bank deposits offer daily liquidity and no principal risk, but also very little return.
Yeah.
currently less than about 0.5%. A CD, an acronym for a certificate of deposit, is a time deposit of a bank providing investors with interest in return for allowing the bank to use the funds over a specified time period. So your money is basically locked up until maturity. But the nice thing about a CD is that it offers some interest, perhaps 1 or 2% depending on the time frame of the CD. Just remember there are early withdrawal penalties if you withdraw funds before the CD matures.
Right.
And then money markets are another type of investment to consider in this regard. They have different risks than a CD or a savings account and should really probably be discussed with a trusted financial professional.
Okay, we've definitely heard that before. I'm sensing a theme here, Dan, around finding a trusted financial professional. But why wouldn't you want to just invest the money in the market, say in a mutual fund or stocks?
Great question. All right. The thing to keep in mind with your emergency savings is that it's there for an emergency. And emergencies are hard to predict.
Yeah.
All right. So the money in your emergency savings needs to be easily accessible when an emergency arises, somewhere you can withdraw the funds at a moment's notice.
Well, can't you withdraw your money if it's invested?
Well, yes, sort of. You know, you're able to sell an investment depending on how it's invested, but even that will take a few days for the trade to settle and for the funds to be available in your account. And you also don't want your emergency money to be at the risk of a market drop.
Yeah, wow. Who knew that there were so many options for savings? Well, you've given us a lot to think about here, Dan.
I think the key is to build the savings in the first place, which we discussed earlier in the segment. Once you have the savings set aside, some of the ideas that we discussed can help you get started with your savings needs.
Good stuff, Dan. We'll be back here next week with a brand new edition of the Morgan Stanley Money Brief right here on the National Defense.
This radio program does not provide individually tailored advice. It has been prepared without regard to the individual financial circumstances, risk tolerance, and investment objectives of the persons who receive it. The strategies discussed may not be suitable for all individuals. Morgan Stanley recommends that individuals independently evaluate particular strategies and encourages them to seek the advice of a financial advisor. The appropriateness of a particular strategy will depend on individual circumstances and objectives. CDs are insured by the FDIC, an independent agency of the U.S. government, up to a maximum of $250,000, including principal and accrued interest for all deposits held in the same insurable capacity. For example, individual account, joint account, IRA, etc., per CD depository. Investors are responsible for monitoring the total amount held with each CD depository. All deposits at a single depository held in the same insurable capacity will be aggregated for the purposes of the applicable FDIC insurance limit, including deposits such as bank accounts maintained directly with the depository and CDs of the depository. For more information about FDIC insurance, please visit the FDIC website at www.fdic.gov. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. With the active duty sweat protection of Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant, you can focus on looking your best. From your dress blues to your ACUs. From 0500 to the next, Gillette's 48-hour sweat and odor protection has got your 6 all day long, keeping you fresh and ready for action. Gillette goes on clear and doesn't leave white marks, so you always pass inspection with flying colors. Gillette Clear Gel Antiperspirant, tough on sweat and as ready for action as you are.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know they did it again, man.
Who are they and what did they do, man?
Ford F-150 engineers. I know that as usual they built the F-150 to kick butt and take names.
Like how the high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class horsepower?
Not surprised.
How about best-in-class payload?
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Not to mention best-in-class towing and torque.
Tell me something I don't know, man.
A pound of houseflies has more protein than a pound of beef.
What? Okay.
So, Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 putting a beat down on the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. This is the Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
We're standing guard with the truth. The National Defense.